Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the best damn professional wrestling podcast on the internet. I am, of course, one of your three hosts himself, Odin's greatest creation, the gift of this generation, Mr. Perfection himself, Lakota Carter, and I'm here once again with Mr. Eddie Kingston Jr., Mr. John freaking Niffin, who, man, you going to get that world title one day, I promise you. Before you retire, you going to get it. And I'm here with my Alfred to my Batman, the peacemaker to my vigilante, Mr. Magic Fingers himself, Andrew. And we are here today to do another special list. Now, I'm sure these will be spaced out, but a lot of you are going to be like, man, y'all did a lot of, top lists. We're doing this for holiday sake and just when we have some shit go on to where we're not able to record an episode that day. That'll be in the archive of videos. So, we're here to do top five. Is it top five?
Yeah.
Top five WCW Television Champions. I'm gonna go first because I don't really know a lot of this title's history. Of course, WCW was even done before I was even born. It ended in 2000. I was born in 2003. And I have watched a lot of WCW, but in terms of binge watching and knowing the title histories, I don't really know that much because it was before my time. So I'm gonna go first here. From 5 to 1, I have, and a lot of you, I'm gonna go back on this one a lot. And he only held it for 79 days, but it's the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I mean, when you're talking about a draw, um, Dusty Rhodes was the inventor of a draw, in my opinion. A lot of people would say that was Hulk Hogan, but in my opinion, Dusty Rhodes was the first character in professional wrestling. He made you care about everything that he did, and he was so good. And that's why Cody Rhodes is in. Honestly, I don't really like the guy, but he is in top 10 promos for me just because whenever he cuts a promo, it's like hearing Dusty Rhodes speak through his son. And that's why I have Dusty Rhodes at number 5. Number 4 for me, man, this list was tough for me, but I'm going to go ahead and put somebody that only held the title for 38 days, but as a guy who has been known to have probably one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time, along with Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. I got Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Um, just because he was the epitome of a mid Carter, but he could have been a main eventer. They just never pulled the trigger on him. He only held the title for 38 days, um, but I'm sure he did great things in that 38 days. Number 3 for me, and this is going to be a very, very controversial pick. But as I'm scrolling through my list of the history of the championship here, man, there is quite a bit of differences. A lot of these title reigns I'm noticing are only one day long. This title flipped hands more than Melina flipped around the locker room. Uh,
Oh, well.
so that's crazy to me. So for my number 3, I have he only held the title for 41 days, but Fit Finley, as a guy who to me is one of the toughest son bitches to ever lace a pair of boots. A guy who never really got that main event push that he probably deserved. Um, Fit Finley is on my list just because it's Fit Finley. Like, that makes me want to go back. And he only held the title for 41 days, but it makes me want to go back and watch that 41 days because I'm sure he did great things with it. Number 3 for me, or number 2 for me, and he's only held the title twice. But man, and here we go. Get ready to plug your ears, internet. It's Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit. The reason I put Chris Benoit at number 2 is just wow. And as I'm looking at this, there's a guy that I left off, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Chris Benoit to me is the greatest wrestler to ever lace up a pair of boots. He's the greatest wrestler to ever live. Because if you go back and watch his stuff, God, that dude was good. God, he was the epitome of a perfect wrestler. Um,
I'm
and
on Mount Rushmore when it comes to the technical side.
yeah, 1000%. And he's a guy, like I've said multiple times, because he's came up in conversation on this podcast multiple times. um, through our course of being on the internet. I don't condone what he did. I separate what the human being, the piece of shit did from the performer. To me, Chris Benoit is one of the greatest performer to ever lace up a pair of boots. And it's a shame that his story and his career has to have this blip on it, because if he didn't do what he did, he would be in the Hall of Fame already. He
Oh
would
yeah.
be a multiple time world champion. Um, Honestly, he could probably still be wrestling today. Like some of the stuff
Yeah.
I could see him doing with Chad Gable. Oh my God. Just wow. But that was number
You
two.
imagine him in AEW
Oh my God, bro. Imagine him and Owen Hart both in AEW. Good God. That's another
or
time. That's another
Eddie
conversation.
Guerrero in AEW.
That's another conversation for another day. Uh, but that was my number two, just because he was the first wrestler that I looked at and was like, yeah, this guy's great. So I got him on the list. Number one for me, and it's not because this dude held the title like an umpteen million times, but I think he made the title relevant, in my opinion, and that's Booker T. I think Booker T had, let me just count here. So one, two,
Or he had it like 7 or 8 times.
4, 5. Yeah, he had it like 7 or 8 times. So that shows me that the company believed in him enough to put that title on him, because they said, okay, this title's kind of, it's our mid card title, let's be honest, but he can hold it and people give a shit about it. So that's my number one is Booker T for that very reason. All right, John, I'll go to you next, my guy. You are a WCW guy. You grew up in the era of the Monday Night War, and you had this experience. I didn't. So give me your top five WCW television champions of all time.
Well, that's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in order,
Hmm.
but I've got Steven Regal as my number five.
Okay. Yeah, he's a guy that I'll list off the list.
Need I say more?
No. Okay.
Um, Four, I've got one of my favorites growing up, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
I thought about putting him on the list. I really
Yep.
did.
Three, I've got Ricky Steamboat.
Okay. Yeah.
You've already touched on Steamboat, and yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Number two, he was a part of one of my favorite tag teams in the early 80s with Rick Martel. And that dude is Tom Zink, the Z-Man. Can-Am Connection.
Wow. That's awesome, dude. You just threw a name out there that I didn't even remember until you just said it. That's awesome.
My number one, and no disrespect to Booker,
Hmm.
but I always was a fan of Johnny B. Bad.
Johnny B. Bad. I honestly thought about putting him on my list as well, because he's probably more fondly remembered as the guy who got powerbombed by Sable.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was his fault. They turned him into Mark Marrow, and he didn't really know how to do anything but besides be Johnny B. Bad. So why didn't they just let him be Johnny B. Bad? I don't understand. But yeah, very valid list, man. I'm very impressed with that list, and you informed me with some names that I'm gonna have to go back and do some research on. All right, Drew, what do you got? You are another WCW guy. You, of course, grew up in the arguably the golden era of this company, so you guys know for the
Yeah,
first time on this
yeah.
podcast, you
I
guys
love
know.
the fact that you guys mentioned most of my list already, which is amazing.
Yeah.
We got so much in common. My honorable mention, though, for this list is Lord Steven Regal, because I, I I hate the fact that as talented as that man is, was, and ever will be, that was almost the peak of his career
Yeah,
with when it came to getting a title.
yeah, and I've
He
said
never got
multiple
his shot.
times. I've said multiple
And
times.
yeah, I mean that's just the highest of his retention when it came to a belt, besides
Yeah,
the European title.
when it came to championships, and I've said it
Yeah,
multiple times.
and he could have taken that company so much further. But um, for number five, I have a two-way tie, because when I was looking at an all-time list, I noticed a certain name kept coming up
Mhm.
But out of that name, two stuck out the most. And that name that came up was Rick. So I have Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair, who held that
Woo.
title many, many times.
Yeah.
And those two were just sworn enemies
Yeah.
during their golden years.
They
So
were
I think they should share that position for number five.
absolutely, they are the equivalent to my generation's Orton and Cena. So,
Yes,
you
yes.
know,
I mean,
they
in certain spots, when you think wrestling, you have to know other names but Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat.
yeah, like I've
So
said, a lot of people critique me because I say Ric Flair wasn't the greatest wrestler, but I have him as the greatest storyteller of all time. Uh, because he
can't
was.
fault that. Yeah,
Yeah, he
can't
was.
fault that
To
statement at all.
me, yeah, he wasn't the best in the ring, in my opinion. But man, could he make you give a shit? Man,
Yes.
just the
And
blonde hair.
if you needed somebody to hate somebody, he could make you feel that as well.
Yeah, one of my earliest memories about wrestling when I was first getting into it, I watched the Four Horsemen break Dusty Rhodes' arm,
Yeah.
and
And that wasn't a gimmick. That was a legit break.
yeah, that was legit. And that was the first time I think that a wrestler ever got me to have heat on him. I was like, man, fuck this Ric Flair guy. Don't really know who he is yet, but fuck this guy. Um, so yeah, man, I completely agree with you. They both deserve to be in the same spot.
Which leads me to number four, which is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Number three is the number seven, eight, however many times he held it, Booker T. Number two, someone that no one has mentioned yet, thankfully. So that is, we all knew him as a certain badass, but when he held this title, he was known as Stunning Steve Austin.
Yeah,
And then number one for me is an absolute legend and one of the founding members of one of the greatest factions of all time,
Arn Anderson.
the Foreign Horsemen, Arn Anderson.
Yeah, very, very good. I'm glad that I was able to pinpoint your number one. And somebody, and I know a lot of people are gonna nobody comments on our videos, but I get messages all the time, which makes no fucking sense. There's a comment section right down here. Jesus Christ. A name that wasn't on any of our list that a lot of people are gonna be like, what are y'all doing? Was Scott Steiner. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that guy had quite a long reign with that
So
belt.
Rick held the belt too.
Yeah,
He was
Rick
one of the
and
many Ricks
Scott,
that I
both
saw
the
on the
Steiner
list
brothers.
that held the belt.
You know, both the Steiner brothers, which we
Yep.
can thank them for the character that Braun Breaker is. Probably my favorite guy going right
I
now.
mean, he's definitely a mixture of his uncles or his uncle and his dad. So
Oh my God, his promos are Scott Steiner to a T. Um, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love it. I also love that he didn't go by Steiner when he signed with WWE. He wanted to make his own
yeah,
name. Um,
yeah.
but I think CM Punk's going to regret talking shit about his dad, to be honest with you, on January.
It's got to be a good story to continue on. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be some good stuff. All right, guys. So this was our top five WCW television champions. And man, like I said, this is the first time I believe in this podcast history. I didn't know shit going into this list. I consider myself a little bit of a modern day, wrestling sommelier in a sense of I know a little bit of everything. But when it came to this belt, I didn't know shit. So thank you, John, for informing me of some names that I need to go back and look on. And thank you, Drew, for informing me of some names that I know of, but I need to go watch some of their work because I don't think they get enough credit. Um, just overall, and I've said multiple times about Steven Regal in 2008, if you guys remember, he won the King of the Ring, and
Yep.
he should have been world champion
Yep.
when he won the King of the Ring. I've said,
Never got flowers on that.
yeah, I've said that thousands of times. He is what he could have been what Gunther is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 100%. And it's no fault to him. It's just shitty booking, which happens with a lot of people. But This has been another quick little top 5 list from the Main Event Mafia. We hope you guys enjoy. We hope you guys learn to use the comment section on both Spotify and YouTube, because good God, I get messages once a week of people from different countries that watch our show, from England and Australia and Brazil and stuff like that. But I don't get comments on the video. I don't understand. I don't understand it. So thank you guys for watching this episode. Thank you, John, once again for being here. My main man, John freaking Niffen, and Mr. Magic Fingers himself. Thank you again for being here. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be safe, guys. We love you, and see you guys in the next one.